Dan Willis here, and we're talking about how to fix your credit and the 5 steps to accomplish this. And the first point here is you don't have to live with bad credit for 7 long years. If you actually look at the law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act that was passed way back in 1970, it says you have to live with bad credit for a maximum. There is no minimum amount of time. It says a maximum amount of time of 7 years. Again, there is no minimum amount of time a negative item must remain on your credit report. The second point here and the second step is all these laws, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, the FDCPA, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, all of these laws are passed for your protection. Congress felt that it was so necessary to protect you that they passed multiple laws making sure that you have some rights, that you are respected as a human being, and that you don't just get stuck with some of these things that can happen on your credit report, that you're not responsible for a consumer debt such as a credit card forever. In fact, there's a statute of limitations, a time window, the legal time frame for which you're legally responsible for repayment, but all the laws are passed for your protection. And the third point here is the credit bureaus are not part of the government. They are private for-profit businesses. In fact, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, which entitles you to dispute any item on your credit report, that law is what regulates the credit bureaus. It also requires that the credit bureaus investigate consumer disputes. And contrary to popular belief, the credit bureaus have not always followed government regulation. In fact, if you look through history, you can see the credit bureaus have been fined not once, not twice, multiple times by our government, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, for not complying with regulations, for not following the laws. And this is your credit we're talking about, one of the most life-influencing, biggest, most important pieces of documents about you. So please be cautious. And that brings us right into our fourth point here. If you're trying to remove inaccurate items, even on totally 100% legitimate, let's say you're a victim of identity, knock on wood, identity theft, my heart goes out to you, but whatever the case, the credit bureaus are not there to help you, unfortunately. This is why you have to be persistent, because every single human being that we've talked to in just short of a decade that we've been talking about and helping people with this stuff, they've yet to have one. This is how it works. When you have an inaccurate item, you have to file a dispute with the credit bureaus. Somebody somewhere decided that it would be a good idea to give the credit bureaus the authority and the power to first decide which consumer disputes are valid, they'll investigate. Invalid, they won't investigate, and they'll respond to you asking you for more information. The critics say this is, and it makes a lot of sense if you look at it, these are private for-profit businesses, and when they investigate, the only reason they do investigate is because of federal law, but when they investigate, they have to spend money, resources. They have to pay somebody to call up the original lender, to call up the company that's reporting that negative information about you and verify, validate your account. So that's money. That money is otherwise profit for them. Period. That's the only reason they investigate, is to comply with federal law. And from the track history, it's debatable about how well they're complying. And whoever thought it was a good idea to give them the power to first decide whether or not they're going to spend money investigating consumer disputes, that one's beyond me, because there was laws passed that requires them to investigate and then give them the power to choose. Like, it doesn't make any more sense than the war on drugs for the past 40 years. So here's the fifth and final point. You not only have to remove the negative, derogatory, bad credit items on your credit report, because that's what's dragging your score down, you also have to build positive credit. You can do that right now, of course, by paying your current bills on time every month, but also, and many consumers will turn and get a credit card for rebuilding credit. That's not a prepaid card. And sometimes a secured credit card will be the best way of doing this. If you use a credit card or you already have a credit card, please try and keep your monthly balance at around 25-30%. So if you had a $1,000 credit limit on your credit card, you'd want to keep a monthly balance of about $250. This shows that you're in a secure financial footing. Otherwise, your credit card would be maxed out. It also shows you have $750 of available unused credit. That helps your utilization ratio. Both of those factors are very important when it comes to your actual credit score being calculated. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below for some more at our website. And we've also got a free report available, the 7 super simple steps to clean credit. Please subscribe and join our congregation. Please have a fantastic day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.